Hello and welcome back to the channel. In today's episode, we're going to show you a disc golf workout. I'm going to be filming this in between my classes today and on my lunch break, so the lighting may change. Also, some of these activities I show you, you might not have the equipment for, or you might not have the ability to do yet. So just try to do a little bit of lead up or make a little adjustment on the equipment that you may or may not have. I'm in a weight room right now, so you can use a lot of this stuff in your regular gym. There's many ways to do disc golf workouts. This is just one. I'm planning to do several of these for you so you can have a lot of choices. In this workout I'm going to show you today, you're going to get rotation, explosiveness, power, mobility, balance and coordination, and low back strength along with arm care. And we're going to have a little emphasis on power and explosiveness today. Now let's fire this up with the warm-up. All right, there's a lot of different ways you can get your functional warm-up in. I like to start with 25 jumping jacks just to get the blood flowing, loosen up those joints. Then I'm going to go into a wall hip hinge, into a T-spine opener here, just using the wall as a guide. I'm not leaning up against the wall, just using it more as helping for balance. If you're new, you can put your hip up against the wall, but you just follow this rotation here, keeping your leg firm. You'll feel it in your hip and your T-spine, doing 5 on each side. Then I move into some inchworms. I'm going to walk my body out in a push-up position. I like to do a push-up at the end here, then keeping my legs straight, walking as far as I can towards my front hands. Each time I do it, I get a little further and further, do about 5 of these. Then I do backwards inchworms. You'll see that in a second after I get this last, forgot my push-up there. And I'm going to do reverse. Just walking out into that push-up position, then walking my hands back into as far as I can up. Hopefully each time I go, I get a little further and further. Again, I'm just doing anywhere from 3 to 5, depending on the day. I'm old, so sometimes it takes me a little longer. And I'm going to move into some curtsy squats. I'm going to do about 5, maybe 10 of these, just getting myself loose. Make sure I'm focusing on the hips and pelvis and lower back. Then I'm going to do some lateral lunges with a reach. Really important because we want to work on that lateral strength as a disc golfer. This is great if you're working on your brace as well. 5 to 10 on each side. Then I'm going to move into some band work here. You can do a full band work warm-up if you like, just warming up my shoulders here, getting some scarecrows. Once again, just doing about 5 to 10. Going to take me about 5 minutes to warm up and do all this, get the blood flowing. I don't take much, if any, rest. Then I work on some speed here, doing some quick rows. This is what I finish off with, about 5 or 6 reps. Then I move into some band work. This is a reverse lunge with a hold, working on our legs and core here. I do about 2 sets of 8 to 10 of these. If you notice, I'm holding my arms straight out and steady as I get into that lunge. Really great workout for our core before we really get into our speed portion of our workout. Next thing, I'm going to work on some speed and explosiveness with some disc golf swings, just doing 2 sets of 5. Every time I do any speed and power, I do very short reps as fast as I can. 5 to 6 reps just so you can keep that maximum effort going. Now we're going to work on some balance and coordination. This is a split stance with a T-spine pull. Going to take that band, pull it, and hold. You'll feel it really high in your T-spine. Then you're going to work on your balance as you move through a disc golf swing, maintaining that weight on the 3 points of our foot. I've covered that in a previous video. Usually do about 2 sets of 10 on these without any rest. As soon as I'm done with the 10, I just do the other side. This isn't really that taxing, more challenging for your balance and coordination than anything, so you don't really need a lot of rest if you're going to take some, maybe 1 minute in between sides. Of course, anytime we do something in the weight room, got to do it both sides. You can see it's a little challenging for the balance. Once again, getting that stretch and maintaining that stretch through the entire rotation of your body. Of course, anytime we do these challenging activities, when you do both sides, you'll discover one side is better than the other. That's fine. It's just an area of weakness you need to work on and improve. After a 2-minute rest, we want to start with some speed training. This is a split stance with a halo slam, keeping those arms at 90 degrees and slamming that ball down as hard as we can. Don't want to do a million reps. We want to do 5 or 6 reps as hard as we can on each side of our body. Then we're going to move immediately with no rest into our next speed training. Here's me going slow just to show you the motion. And as soon as we're done with our 5, we're going to move into our shuffles. 2 shuffles, then touch the ground. We're going, again, as fast as we can. This is speed training. But when we do fast as we can sprints and things like that, we're actually improving our power as well. This is because we're using max effort. We're going to do 2 rounds of this, and then we're going to take a 2-minute rest. Then we're going to work in the next phase of our medicine ball speed training. We're going to do a forward med ball slam. We're going to start with a squat, bring that medicine ball all the way back behind your head and slam it down as hard as you can. Notice my feet are getting up a little bit in the air as I'm slamming. Just watch out for the ball bouncing. Then we're going to move right into skater jumps right after that. No rest. Great for lateral strength. I'm moving as fast and as hard as I can. If you are a real savage, you can do the skater jump with a jump on top of that. That's for you young athletic guys. As you get older, to tone this down, you're just going to do a very light jump. Next, we're going to move into one of 3 medicine ball throws that you want to do. Here's a step back wall throw. Not a lot of places let you throw that medicine ball. There's a shuffle medicine ball throw you can do. We can also, I'm going to show you the other side here real quick. Once again, just shuffling it, throwing that medicine ball up against the wall. My gym doesn't let me throw the medicine ball up against the wall. You might not either. Final choice of the 3 is this medicine ball push pass. You can either do it with the split stance here or a staggered stance, whichever one you prefer. Great for working on some explosiveness for your upper body, really getting power into those putts. After you pick one of those, we're going to immediately go into some lateral hops over a line here. Once again, 5 on each side as fast as you can. Now let's move into some strength training. We're going to start with a plyometric push-up. We want to make sure we land light and in control and keep our good posture throughout the movement. We also want to keep our elbows in, making a W with our elbows and wrists as we're in our down position. A lot of people cannot do this, so let's start with a couple of lead-ups, just push-ups with the ball in one hand, and then we're going to reach up with one hand and balance on that one hand, making sure we're ready to explode. Next, we're going to move into a low squat foot jump with a max effort vertical jump into a split stance. This is a great exercise for stabilization, balance, and max power. This is also great for absorbing energy in the lower body, which is a limiting factor in power and explosiveness. Once again, doing this without rest. Let me show you a little lead up how to do these. Lower legs are going to be as perpendicular to the ground as you can make them. When you're jumping, you're lifting from the hip flexors, making sure you're giving a little max effort jump, getting off the ground about 2 or 3, maybe 4 inches, depending on how athletic you are. Then, after we get into this, next lead up is just jumping into a regular squat. Then we're going to go full max effort into our split stance. I'm getting up as high as we can. Then I'm going to sink down into a squat. Once again, as high as jump. It doesn't look like I'm jumping very high. Once again, working on my explosiveness because I'm old and I need to work on it. We're going to jump 3 times and then explode as high as we can into that vertical jump. And you're going to do 2 sets of 5 along with 2 sets of as many as you can with the plyometric push-ups. Next, we're going to move into goblet squat thrusters, great for total body strength. We want to make sure when we're in our goblet squat, we remain tall with our chest upright and our weight held close to our ribs and our chin tucked to our chest. As we push up, we want to make sure we get that up and out rotation of our scaps. That way we remain in correct position. Next, we're going to move on to another superset. First, we're going to do pull-ups, making sure we go all the way down and all the way up. We want to feel a squeeze in our upper back at the top part of the movement. There's plenty of modified versions of pull-ups that you can look up and do instead of the regular pull-ups. Then we're going to move right into seated good mornings. Legs at about 45 degrees, keeping that back straight and perfect posture. I'm holding a plate here. You can also do this with a barbell behind your back. We're going to do sets of 10. So 2 sets of pull-ups until failure, then 2 sets of 10 of seated good mornings. Once again, no rest in between these sets. All right, after that, we're going to move into some heavier lifting. 3 sets of between 6 and 8 reps. We're going to do a 1-arm row here, making sure we keep our back flat with our hips slightly lower than our shoulder blades. I'm going down even with my shoulder and up into my rib cage while not jerking around. Obviously, we're going to work both sides of this. Then as soon as we are done with our 1-arm rows on both sides, maintaining our balance and stability throughout the whole movement, of course, arm all the way down and all the way up with a slight squeeze at the top. Then we're going to move into the hex bar deadlift, same thing, 3 sets of between 6 and 8 reps, heavy, very challenging weight. You're going to start with your feet about hip width apart and nice tall posture. Keep your chin tucked in and your chest up with your back flat. You're going to lift the bar by pushing your feet through the floor and extending your hips and knees simultaneously, maintaining that good posture throughout the entire lift. There's other ways we can do the deadlift too. Here's a single weight deadlift, great for challenging your balance and posture. We also have just the regular plain old deadlift that you can do as well. And of course, there's a sumo deadlift, which is my least favorite of the deadlift variations. If you don't have the equipment or the time for deadlifts, you can do the Bulgarian split squats, one of my favorites. I do this more than I do the deadlift. Make sure you've got that leg fully on that bench in the back. Making sure we're keeping that perfect posture and going all the way down, all the way up. Great for mobility and stability through the joints in the knee and the hip and ankle. Make sure that knee is not going out further than the toes. Of course, making sure we do both sides of the body. Always doing both sides of the body when we do single legs. Single leg exercises for the lower half are fantastic for throwing athletes, which disc golfers are. Next, we're going to move into some farmer's carries and variations. You're going to do this for about a minute, or you can do it for between 20 or 30 yards. Once again, heavy, challenging weight. Here's a couple of variations you can use so you don't get bored with doing any sort of farmer's carries. Of course, anytime we do this, we want to make sure we keep perfect posture as we lift. Next, we're going to move into some arm care with some swimmers with a T-spine hold. One arm is doing the work back and forth while the other arm is holding a weight up even with our shoulder, making a T. We want to use really light weight with this. I'm using 2.5 pounds here. We're going to work 10 on one side, then we're going to switch and move to the other side. You're going to do 2 sets of these. After we work through our 2 sets of these, we're going to do some forearm work. Just going to do some internal and external rotation of the forearm. I'm using a lightweight here. You can go a little bit heavier. If you have some sort of club in your gym, that would be great. Just doing the external. Then I'm going to move into internal. And then I'm going to do some ulnar deviations, working all 3 ways. We can move our wrist to strengthen that, get that wrist health and that elbow health going for our arms. Going to do 2 rounds of 10 each way. Next, we're going to get into our core here. Going to do 1 minute, working our way up to 2 sets of 1 minute into front plank. We want to make sure our back and body is nice and straight. We don't want our body sagging down towards the ground or making any camel butts with our body or dipping our head down or anything of that nature. We can also work into some scapular push-ups here. One of 2 ways. We can do it the traditional way here, or you can get up into your push-up position and do some scap push-ups this way as well. You can also use this in your arm care routine as well. You can also do some side planks if you get bored with just doing the front plank. I do 1 day of front plank and then 1 day of side plank, alternating them so you can get the abdominal workout in all the areas. Of course, anytime you do the side plank, you want to do 1 on each side, then the other to make sure that strength is even. Right after that, we're going to move right into a quick mobility routine with no rest. These are ATG squats with a elevation. Just working on that knee health, sinking right into that movement, keeping that posture nice and tall. Just going to do reps of 10 on all these mobility drills today. We're just touching on mobility, not doing a full mobility workout today. Then we're going to move into our hips, doing a shin box or a 90-90, whichever you prefer. Again, doing that good posture, getting that movement in through your hips. Once again, doing 10 repetitions. Then we're going to move into hip airplanes. I've had this on the channel a couple of times before. Really great activity for internal and external rotation of the hips, something we all struggle with. Once again, 10 on each hip. Then we're going to move up into the T-spine. I'm going to give you a choice of 2. Here is our wall circles that you can do. This is what I typically use, but for whatever reason you don't want to work on any rotation, there's something else you can do with your T-spine, which I'll show you right here. You can use a bench and a PVC pipe just to work a T-spine stretch here. Just make sure we're getting the movement in through our T-spine and we're not arching our lower back as we go down. It'll be a great stretch for that T-spine. Final piece of the mobility is shoulder angels. These are fantastic for our shoulder health, making sure we're getting that movement going through our scaps, not lifting up through our wrists, and just making that nice arm circle, ending with our thumbs up at the very top. Once again, all these are 10 reps, just moving straight through, working your way up through the body. Doing 1 round of this today just to kind of get that mobility and touch on it. I end all my workouts with a passive hang. If I have to skip a couple of things, I always end up doing this. I try to get it done for 2 minutes. You can do sets of 30, sets of 20, sets of 1 minute. I actually do some ab work sometimes as well in here. There's a couple of variations. I have a full video on passive hangs in my channel. You can check that out. But usually I try to get about 2 minutes of passive hangs in. Great for your upper body health and your shoulder health and strength as well. Hey, we're done with the workout. Now we're just going to end with whatever stretching routine that you have. I've just got a simple one here I'm going to show you. Just going to get down and touch your toes. Then you're going to work a quad stretch on both sides. You can do a nice 10 to 20 second hold on each thing. Here I'm showing you a tricep stretch. And of course, I always end up doing this chest stretch so my chest doesn't end up too tight and my shoulders round forward. It's a problem I've personally had, so make sure you work that in as well. After I do that, that's it. I am done for the day. Time to start the rest of my day. Hope you liked it. All right, that's all I've got for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed it and found some exercises that help you. Thank you for watching and subscribing. If you want me to break down something next, let me know and I'll try my best. Until next time, peace.